I am now going to use Amelia to help explain to you guys how to correct yourselves, because it's hopeless doing all these emails from long distance. So before you can do any of these exercises that you're looking at on the internet, you've got to have the posture straight in the first place. You've got to understand about the alignment, because if you don't have the alignment straight, your muscles are working twisted, and so they're working with some longer and some shorter. So alignment is pretty obvious. She's got her nose above her tummy button, and her tummy button is above her crutch, which is directly above the gap between her 2 feet. So she's standing straight. So when she's standing straight, imagine I'm pulling your head up to the ceiling. Can you feel your tummy engaged in here? Feel you're a bit tighter in your tummy. Now pull your shoulder blades back a little bit. There we go. And relax your arms. So that is nice, strong posture. So she's got her feet. The important thing with all these leg, knee and ankle injuries is that her foot needs to be directly underneath her knee, which is directly underneath her hip here. And in order to get that, she has to actually engage her bum muscles. So she does that by always bending at her hip. So when she bends forwards, don't bend forwards, but when she bends forwards, she bends from here. But what I want her to do while she's facing you is just squeeze with your bum and open your knees up. And then relax. And then squeeze your bum muscles together so that your knees come apart. So your knees come out like that. And then relax. And then squeeze again. And then relax. So this is how you've got to engage your bum muscles in order to keep the alignment right. So when you're doing these exercises where you're bending and straightening your knee, you've got it all in a straight alignment. You've not got it all wobbling all over the place. Right, turning sideways. So when Amelia stands sideways, you can see that she's nice and straight here. So her head should be above her shoulders. Yeah, and she's got a nice curve to her back. So her hip bone, the top of her hip bone is here. That wants to be directly above the hole, which is where your pelvis, where everything goes out of. That's straight, and then her spine comes out of that in a nice curve around her shoulders, and her head is on top of there. That's what's called neutral spine. So now she lengthens. So try to stand really tall. Get your head up to the ceiling. You can feel your tummy muscle engages a bit, and her back becomes straighter, and her legs become nice and taut. So that is perfect posture, and that's the platform to work the exercises from. So unless you've got this all straight, you can't correct knee and ankle problems. So when she comes to, the whole thing about governing the knee is coming from the glutes. So keep your back straight like that, and I want you to bend forwards at your hip here, keeping your back straight. So engage your shoulders, put your shoulder blades back into my and then bend forward here. And if you go with a straight back, go all the way down. So all of her actions, she needs to stay like that to engage her glute. Now stand up by pushing your bum forward. Right, so this is how you engage your glutes. Okay. So we're going to talk about sitting now. So when I'm sitting, I want to be sitting up straight so that my spine is straight, my hips are parallel, and my knees are parallel, the ends of my knees, and my legs are coming off straight. My feet are directly under my knees, and my knees are hip distance apart. That's the width of my hip. That's the centre. There's the centre of one side. There's the other. And the centre of my knee wants to be the centre of that. So from a side point of view, I'm sitting on a 3-point seat. I've got my seat bones underneath me. My pelvis is vertical. So the seat bones are under here, and I'm resting at the front on the bit just behind where I pee from, which for you is just behind where your men's bits come out. And I'm sitting up tall on that. So everything is about the front of the hip bone here and the pubic bone being in a flat line, being in a line, it being either vertical or horizontal when I'm lying down. So vertical when I'm standing. And every time I move my leg, this stays still. So that I'm engaging my core and I'm using my glutes. So as I take my leg out and back, this stays still, and that controls my leg wobbling around, which is important when you come to going up the stairs and walking, because you need to keep your knee strong so that it's not wobbling around. So as I'm here sitting like this, I'm sitting tall, and as I straighten my leg, I don't allow my hip to bend backwards. I keep my hip still vertical, and I'm bending and straightening. I'm going to hold it like that. Bending and straightening my leg in alignment, in the straight line. So this is something they did not emphasize in some of those other exercise videos you were showing me. And then when you're lying down, it's exactly the same. So my pelvis, here's the crest of my pelvis, there's my pubic bone. My pelvis has to be horizontal to the floor. So this is directly in line with the middle of my, whatever you want to call it, the bottom between, like I said before. And there's a small arch here in my lower back. My rib cage is flat, my shoulders are flat, my head is back, my spine is straight, arms even on each side. And then as I extend one of my legs, it's all going out straight. My bum muscle is pulling me down and then pulling back.